Good afternoon, all. We have Mr. I.L. Narasimha Garu with us for delivering a talk on recent trends in cybercrime. So, Rao Garu is a professional and renowned cybersecurity expert and is an information security speaker committed to educating people on security threats and best practices. He is a very energetic, passionate, and soft nature person, and is become a leading presenter by maximizing the impact of his security expert through engaging presentations, auditing, and motivating lectures. So these people are conducting so many workshops, or guest lectures or workshops uh, in different colleges and institutes. So Rao Garu gave live demonstrations and show how cyber criminals operate in the real world. And Rao Garu can involve and inspire an audience, whether they are a group of tech which are average computer users. Ailan Rao Garu passion to make cybersecurity accessible and interesting has to led many appearances, including giving multiple talks on a long list of national TV and radio programs. He writes articles, conduct more than 400 plus workshops. Over the past years, his focus has been on linking through educational departments, NCRT, CBSE, state and central government agencies, private sector for communication and outreach policy, and development of training programs of information cybersecurity awareness to all the stakeholders. Having double master degrees, Mr. Rao has nearly 22 plus years of teaching and training experience. He is on the advisory and technical boards of several academic institutions and has conducted many national and international events. He has several awards to his credit. He has conducted several workshops for police intelligence department, cyber cells, engineering, college students, teachers, faculty, general public, security forces on information security and latest technologies. So we are happy with us, sir. I request you to take the session for all our viewers. Sir, Mr. Ailan Rao garu.
Thank you, Chakravarti Garu, for giving that introduction. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
Oh, great. Okay. Thank you, Chakravarti, for giving this opportunity to interact with the people. I really love to interact with all. And I think we have a good amount of time where we can discuss about a lot of things. And I also would like to suggest that you can keep your questions till the end because I'll be giving good amount of time because a lot of doubts will be there among the people, right? So let's start with that particular session. And before we start, uh, I work with Cyber Peace Foundation as a senior project manager. Earlier, I worked with CDAC Hyderabad, and now I'm stationed at Hyderabad and interacting with all the stakeholders. Right. So, is my screen visible? Chakravarti Garu, you can be online for some time.
Your screen is visible, sir.
Yeah, now it is visible.
I can see your screen, sir.
Okay, wonderful. So there can be one or two people who can be live so that they can give me a live feedback, right, with respect to my voice or any clarity is there or is any offering of that video.
Here we have two people, myself and T. Sivaram Krishna will be helping you.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's great. So I'll not be seeing the chat box as of now because
no issue, sir. We'll see it. Okay. If there is any problem with your voice or presentation, we'll let you know.
Wonderful, wonderful. So shall we start, Chakravarti?
Yes, sir. We are on time. We can start.
Right. Thank you. So today's topic would be on the recent trends in the cyber crime. Then we'll talk about the introduction. What do you mean by the cyber crime? What are the other things that we have? Then we talk about the different types of cyber crimes which are happening. Then we'll talk about some kind of a resilience, like how to be safe. And the end would be with the challenges where the engineering students and faculty also have a role to play here with respect to the research. Um, so going forward, there are a few things that you have to remember. First thing is providing 100% cyber security is a myth. Providing 100% cyber security is a myth, and eradicating those cyber attacks completely is again going to be another myth. And nowadays, most of the organizations, earlier, they used to have one particular thing, one strategy, which is protect, detect, and then respond. But now the complete scenario has changed, the strategy has changed, where they are talking about responding to the kind of attacks, detecting more attacks, and trying to protect them. And one bottom line for all of you is that anything that is smart is hackable, and anything that is connected to the internet is remotely hackable. Please remember these lines. We'll also see what are the different things. Okay. So when we talk about this cyber crime as per se, there is no proper definition that has been given by the IT Act, which has been created by the Government of India for the law enforcement agencies, which is a guideline for them. So basically, this is the definition that has been taken from the Wikipedia, and I'll also be mentioning the sources from where the content has been created. And the one disclaimer I have shown you on the first slide is that it's only for the knowledge purpose, right? So cyber crime, when we talk about it, we can also call it as a computer-oriented crime, where a computers or networks are used in doing a particular crime, where it can be a target, right? Or it can be used for attacking others. So when we talk about the cyber crime, we are saying that the computer is either the target of an attack, where we talk about the different kinds of examples that we can take is hacking into the systems unauthorizedly, then attacking through virus and worms, then doing the DOS attacks, denial of service attacks, and so on. And when we talk about a computer as a tool to attack, we talk about cyber terrorism, which is increasing, IPR violations, then we have the pornography being spread, CSAM material being transferred from different locations, and electronic funds transfers happening, credit card frauds, and so on, which I'll be discussing with it. And as you know, the law enforcement agencies are always looking at the computer and the networks and the devices for finding out any kind of traits that have been left by which the criminal activity, the instance of the criminal activity is stored in that. So let's look back, right? Now we are talking about the cyber crimes, right? All the complete traditional crimes that we had earlier has been converted into cyber crimes. Earlier, we used to have something called as burglary, where people used to enter into our houses without our authorization, break in the locks and doing so. But now these fraudsters are trying to hack our computers by intrusions, by unauthorized access. And when you look at the deceptive callers, which were there earlier, where they used to tap our signals and do it, now we are talking about phishing attacks, which are there, where the people call us and try to get our information and try to attack us. Next, we are talking about extortion, which was existing earlier, but now we are talking about extortion, which is in the form of a malwares, which is in the form of a malwares, where we are talking about hacking and controlling the complete data systems, so that until unless you make the payment, they will not be revealing it. We talk about different types of ransomwares also. Next, we talk about frauds, right? And now it has been converted into internet frauds. We are talking about identity theft, which was done earlier, where people used to search the dustbins to collect the information about an individual, right, gaining the access. But now we are talking about computers, where identity theft is paramount, and most of us doesn't know that our identity has already been stolen. So, and the most important challenging thing that is happening in this particular time is that exploitation of the children. As more and more children are connected to the internet, more and more children are using the technology, right? And they are becoming dependent on the technology in this particular COVID times. Lot of exploitation is also happening online. Earlier, it was offline, but now completely online. And we'll also talk about the different aspects of that in the due course of our discussion. Coming to the trends, yes, if you look at this particular figure that I've taken from this particular source, which is mentioned down, we are talking about two types of crimes which are there. One is the crimes where the computer is a target for the criminal activity. The other is the crime where the computer is a tool to commit a crime. So the first thing that you have to look at is when you are going to use the computer as a target, where you are talking about unauthorized access and malicious code, plus interruption of services and theft of services. So when you talk about unauthorized access, you know how people try to enter into our system. So different means, try to collect our data, modify it, try to destroy the data, try to encrypt the data, by which until unless you make the payment, you'll not be getting it. And the others are with respect to the malicious code. Malicious code is nothing but some softwares which will try to disrupt the existing resources and services which happen, right? So we talk about virus, worms, trojans, right? Some kind of a spywares and some of the software bombs. And there are, whenever we do a lot of programs all over India, they always ask me, sir, which one is the most deadliest one, whether it's a virus, worm, or a Trojan. I would say worm is more dangerous one because it does not require any base for the propagation. It just transfers automatically once it's get connected to that particular network, and it go on and go on replicating itself. But when it comes to a Trojan, yes, Trojan looks like a valid program, but when it is going to enter into your system, automatically it's going to create some unauthorized things which is not supposed to do it. And most of our malwares these days are related to the Trojans and all, where there are some kind of banking Trojan, financial Trojans, which try to steal our data, steal our information from our mobile devices as well as computer devices. And when it comes to the interruption of services, yes, there is a lot of issues that have been raised where some of the services which have been offered get disrupted because of some kind of attacks on that particular system and the service, where the actual service is denied to the authorized users. And misuse, right? Theft of services and misuse of services. Like if I take a simple example of one of the service which was prompted by at the time of COVID with respect to the PM CARES fund, you know all that, how people have immediately created different things and doing it. The next is with respect to uh, uh, the content violations and unauthorizations. As you know, when we talk about the content violations, we are talking about some kind of hate crimes that happen on a regular basis. We talk about child pornography, which is very increasing these days because of the what you call the demand and the supply that's happening, and the kind of harmful content that has been created. Lot of honey tapping being happening, where the military forces are getting military force people are getting lured with some of the activities. Copyrights is also part of the crime. Intellectual property and forgery is also part of that. But when it comes to unauthorized access, we are talking about online frauds, which are paramount, which I'll also discuss at length. Right? We are talking about sabotage, trying to kill the privacy of an individual, doing the identity theft, right? And some kind of an internet fraud. Where they do a lot of telemarketing and other things which are related to that. The next is with respect to the improper use of communications, right? Where we have the internet relay chats that are available, some of the platforms which are available. Uh, yeah, I hope I am audible, Chakravarti.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Clear, sir. You can.
Oh, great. How many have joined?
Sir, we have one or two participants, and most of the people are seeing through YouTube also.
Okay, wonderful. So a lot of harassments happening on the net, where the internet relay chats are being used and the different platforms being abused rather than used, and online money frauding, cyber stalking happening, drug trafficking on the different which I'll also show you, and social engineering frauds and attacks, which are paramount these days because more and more people are having their digital footprint kept on their uh, systems. So when you talk about this classification, right? So basically, whenever we talk about this classification of cyber crimes, We can classify them onto the attack against whom, whether it's the persons, right? Where we are talking about the different attacks, creating fake profiles and all, fake email IDs, right? Spoofed email IDs being sent, threatening through emails, right? Cyber stalking, cyber bullying, all this comes under that. And when it comes to the property, where there are a lot of what they call financial frauds, which are part of them, and most prominent one, which everybody knows, is the Nigerian frauds, lottery frauds, and these days the latest trend is romance and dating frauds, which have been increasing a lot, which we can also talk about that. Next is we talked about the technology, right? Using the technology and attacking the same technology, ransomwares, DOS attacks, hacking, worms, government. When it comes to the government and organizations, yes, honey trapping is paramount, spamming, bombing. Why not? You can have the different categories over there. And when it comes to intellectual property, rights, IPR, yes, a lot of issues that have come up and a lot of cases have been registered in India with respect to the fringe, what do you call it, the theft of the computer software, right? And then pirated software is being created, copyrights violations, right? A lot of movies coming out before it is released, right? Music, games, whatnot, all this comes under this IPR. Now, what is the motivation? How does these fraudsters get motivated with, and what is the reason for their motivation? As you can see, this is again a source that has been collected, right, to avoid the time. So we have seen the different types of kind of motivated threat actors which will be doing it. We have this financial frauds happening, which is for the monetary gain and all. We talk about the personal, right, where the intellectual challenge, there is some kind of a self amusement for this particular threat actors, right? And some saying, let's saying that yes, I could do this, something like that, and you need to prove their technical proficiency, right? And some of them wants to prove themselves to see that they are above the normal intellectuals that are there. And so there are people who are motivated in this particular line who does that, and if they are going to channelize this particular energy for the good of the society, for the good of the platform, like there are some kind of a bounties which have been kept by most of the platforms, right? That would be really helpful for them as well as for the technological giants who are trying to provide the best services to that. And when it comes to some kind of an emotional background of it, yes, we talk about the revenge porn that is happening, obsessions, right? And to kill their boredom, they try to do some kind of hate pictures, the fake messages and all. I'll also talk about how to identify the fake messages and all, and so on. So the idea is that there are different motivating factors for different what you call fraudsters, right? The threat actors, right? And the most somehow these days we have seen the kind of political agenda with which they go, the commercial agenda with which they try to attack the other competitors and try to steal their secrets and intellectual property rights and so on. And another thing that we look at is the exploitations. The exploitation is happening more and more. Harassment is happening online, right? Child pornography is increasing, and it is going to lead to such kind of a distress where we have found that there are some children who have also committed suicide because of this kind of an exploitation, because they don't know whom to approach, what to do, and all, which will also be discussing in our things. So basically, whenever we look at why the technology is being used, why internet is being used, yes, we know the internet has become through internet. It has been the world has become a global village. Wherever we are able to get all that information. As the same way, there are some kind of criminals who are trying to use the same platform to attack others. And the first thing that I would always say that the criminals try to use this internet and try to deceive the people is that the return on investment is very less. As you know, the investment, there is no investment and the return is always high, right? So they always get it, and free tools are available on the internet by which they are able to try to attack it. The physical availability is not mandatory over there. We have lot of people who are trying to, a lot of these criminals trying to do that because there is no something like jurisdictions which are part of it. There are viruses, worms, logic bombs can be created and can be flown in the network very, very easily. There is no robust laws by which we can cut this particular people, and identifying this particular criminals is also going to take more time. So they can easily hide, but to some extent, but there are ways by which the LES can also find them. And also we are talking about this mutual legal assistance treaty, the MLITES, where there are several countries which has to what you call get connected to this MLAT agreements and all, so that if any cyber criminal is caught on a different other side of the globe, we should be able to bring him back to the justice. One important thing that I want each and every one of you who are joining this particular lecture is that to read this blue line. We think it won't happen to us, and that's the Indian attitude generally. And most of the people, until unless a cyber crime happens with you, or you are the victim of a cyber crime, then you'll be understanding what is the importance of the kind of awareness and such kind of sessions where we are going to try to interact and share our knowledge. Because we have seen many people that when the sessions are conducted, when people try to understand, don't try to understand it with respect to that, because they are not a victims. But once you are become a victim, then you will understand the pain. And this is the attitude that we generally have, where we think it will not happen to us, so it's not that much necessary. Right. Coming to the perspective, some of the statistics, where the Internet and Mobile Association of India has already given this particular statistics, where we are going to have the mobile penetration, which is next to the China, and most probably we'll be leading it very, very shortly. The reason behind is that there is no difference between the rural and urban areas now. Everybody is connected to the internet. India is having the largest or the lengthiest optical fiber network in the world, right? And most of the villages are also connected. The connectivity is not an issue, right? And the bandwidths, requisite bandwidths are really available, and most of them are connected to the internet. And there was also a big issue that started, like how does the digital India is going to be successful, right? And now it is a reality where more and more people are connected to the internet. There is no training courses which are being conducted. I know there are many questions asked by people, sir, you are talking about digital India, the benefits of digital India, but how does those illiterate people are going to use this particular technology? Who is going to train them and all? And now it is a reality. Is there any training centers that have been cared for those people? Right, the necessity is the mother of invention. And once they had a smartphone in their hand, right, they started using it. They know how to upload, download, how to use the services. And let me be very frank with you, friends, most of the cyber crimes are not happening in the rural areas, but most of the cyber crimes are happening in the urban areas. Most of the educated people are falling prey to that. So let's also discuss that. So before we go into the critical details of this cyber crimes and the different types of crimes that are happening, you can just see this particular figure, which is again collected from the internet, where we are talking about the three types of webs that have been projected over here. We talk about surface web, we talk about deep web, and our dark web. And we are on the surface web, where we are saying that only 4% of the indexed pages and the indexed content that we are accessing. And can you imagine how much content may be available in this deep web and dark web, where most of the content on the internet is directly not available until unless you know the exact URLs and so on, and a lot of kind of what you call unlawful things happening in the dark net. And there are also some kind of research going on in identifying the kind of information that is being shared on the darknet, where some tools needs to be developed, where a lot of unwanted things like illicit trade and human trafficking, pornography, extremism, all these are part of the darknet. And this is also one areas of research that you can really part of it. So on the left hand side, you can see the kind of threats that are available, right? And how the particular systems are addressed. It doesn't mean that the cyber crime doesn't relate to only to the individuals, but it also relates to the organizations, to the systems that are there. So we are talking about attacks on the banking systems, right? Financial systems, where the data theft is happening, where we are talking about compromise of the security measures that have been in place, right? Industrial equipment, aviations, consumer devices, right? Automobile industry, the governments, Internet of Things, I mean, exploiting the Internet of Things, vulnerabilities, medical system, managed sector. These are the different systems which are at risk, and the critical infrastructure has to be properly guarded. And these are on the right hand side. I'm talking about the kind of measures that can be taken, right? So the different measures that can be taken, like we can have a security by design, security by architecture, right? Having some best coding practices that are there, protecting your hardwares and softwares, right? Checking the vulnerability management, having a very good cyber hygiene. And another thing that is part of it is having some creating that awareness, frequent awareness to all the people at different levels. So now coming to the what are the most prominent cyber crimes, we have seen that when I interact with most of the cyber cells all over India, the one thing that always the cyber investigating officer says that, sir, it's very, very difficult to nab the people as of now. The criminals, we are able to identify them, but we are not in a position to catch them because of a lot of reasons which are there. And the awareness is the only way that we can reduce this particular cyber crime. And so, my dear friends, please understand that only through awareness the cyber crime can be reduced, because the cyber crime is going to increase a lot day by day, and it's very difficult to reduce the cyber crime until unless the users, the end users, the customers are educated about this particular thing. And let me be frank with you, almost 80% of the cyber crimes are not reported. Can you imagine that? 80% of the cyber crimes are not reported because of several reasons. One reason is that many of them don't report because there is some kind of a social stigma to that. What will happen if I'm going to report to the police? Will I be blamed for that, or somebody will be blaming me, or I'm an educated person and falling prey to this particular person, they're going to laugh at me? So all these are some of the social stigmas that are there. And there are some girls and women, even though there is something happening against their will, they don't come out and report. So these are some of the cases. The second thing is, there are many people who doesn't know where to report. That's another big issue. Where to report, how to report, right? What are the things that we require, all this, right? There are some of the things which we have to understand and spread this knowledge, saying that until and unless we give a complaint, right, we are not going to nab the particular what you call fraudster, because if that fraudster is left free, he is going to attack 1,000 more, 2,000 more, 10,000 more. So we, as a responsible citizen, is always better we have to report the particular crime. And let me tell you, also give you some information how to report it, what is the things that are required. So when it comes to the different kinds of frauds, different kinds of cyber crimes that are happening, right, the most prominent one is the OTP frauds. As you know, the one-time password, right? Most of definitely know, everyone might have, each one of you might have got a call saying that we are calling from the bank or something like that, which we called as a phishing attacks, right? And where they'll be asking our card details and all. I know there are many people who doesn't know that you are just sharing your card number, expiry date, and your CVV number. Also, the fraud can happen without getting an OTP, right? So we'll also discuss that. So we are talking about this OTP frauds, which are more prominent, and there are several bank officials also who have responded to the fake calls that they get. And those fake callers are so trained, right? And they talk in such a convincing way where they create that kind of a what you call impression on you that something is bad is going to happen, and until unless you respond to that, you are going to lose everything that you have won. So this is some of the things that happen, like the phishing attacks, the OTP frauds, and now we are talking about the UPI pins that are being collected. We are talking about the Google Pay link frauds which are there. So all these e-wallet frauds also comes under this particular activity. And there are also cases where the without the OTP frauds I was talking about, without OTP also there is a possibility of fraud which is going to happen. And the other frauds that are paramount these days, and it has been increasing, is the QR code fraud. I know that many of you are you make the payment through your e-wallets by scanning the QR code. The QR is nothing but your quick response code. So we have the QR code where we scan it and then transfer the money by entering your UPI PIN number. Now the problem that we have is there are many people who doesn't know that if anybody is trying to send the money to us, he has to scan and send it to us. But there are cases that have happened in India, right, where people are deceived saying that you will be getting the payment, I'll be sending you a QR code, you scan it, enter your PIN number, and automatically your money will be given back to you. And let me tell you, friends, this QR code scam has increased in such a way that many people doesn't know that if you want to send any money, you have to do the scan of the QR code, but not for receiving it. For receiving it, the other person has to scan and send it to you. And this QR code scam is also increasing a lot. Lot of cases have been registered all over India, and still many people are falling prey to this particular QR code scam. So please be very, very careful with respect to this kind of scams. We'll also talk about the redressal mechanism also. Right, coming to these wallets, right, and now these fraudsters change their strategy and modus operandi from time to time. Right now, they know that the OTP frauds are known to everybody. Every bank is sending an SMS to people. People are known that the phishing attacks are going to happen, but they will come out with some new strategies. What were the new strategies? They'll say that the KYC update, right? Know your customer update, where you have to link it with your Aadhaar card number or Aadhaar number, bank account to the Aadhaar number, getting your details of your card details, so on and so forth, right? They have all the features, and they speak such politely and authoritatively that we feel that there is an authenticate person calling. And please remember, friends, never respond to this particular calls. Even though if you have some free time, respond. Don't give the details, but try to engage him, because you will be wasting his time and he will not be attacking one more victim in that particular time. So I always suggest that you enjoy that conversation, talk to him, collect all that information that we have, and he will be so, and you will be surprised to see that he will never reveal his proper information, but he will try to get your information properly. So try to engage such fraudsters, and once you record that particular numbers and all, have a record of it, and try to report to the cyber cells, which will also tell you how to report those particular fraud numbers, so that it will be registered, and some action will be taken as early as possible. And looking at the kind of job frauds which are happening, yes, now we have large number of people who are graduates, right, looking for jobs, and there are several emails that comes to us saying that you have been selected for so and so job, right? And I've seen many people receiving the authenticated, I mean so-called authenticated fake what do you call the offer letters, right? And you will be surprised to know the content, everything will be the look and feel of the document will be so clear, but there will be some messages that will be sent to you through your email, right? They will say that your job is through the backdoor entry, and whenever say a backdoor entry, you cannot call the frontline receptionist to find out whether it's a genuine or not. And if somebody is going to do that, they are going to lose their job, right? Lose that opportunity. And there are many cases that have happened. And there are many cases registered in India where people have paid the money for getting a job. And the payment has gone to such a level that there are people who have already paid to an extent of 45 lakhs, right? You cannot imagine. You may be laughing that how this happens, but they trap it like that. They trap you like that, where they'll say that, okay, just pay 5,000, then another 5,000, another 10,000, another 20,000, and the stake increases. And at the end, you will feel that, okay, TK, we'll do this now. Okay, this will be the last time I'll pay. Again, you'll be forced to pay. So all this happens in such a short span that before, after losing all that money, then only you'll be able to realize that it is a fraud. So if any kind of such kind of a job frauds are any offer letters are given to you, please try to verify the things properly. Try to call the particular organization from where the appointment has come. Check their website. Check their toll-free numbers or the landline numbers. Verify with them, and then only do it. And please remember one bottom line: if I'm going to do a job, the other person has to give me the money. Why I have to give the money to get a job? Right? That's the simple common sense. So job frauds are paramount, and we have to stop this, and we have to educate our young budding engineers not to fall prey to such kind of frauds. Next, we talk about Chakravarti. I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Coming to the loan frauds, yes, in this particular COVID time, they know that a lot of what you call people are losing their jobs. A lot of people are looking for some kind of financial assistance. So the loan frauds have increased a lot, where they'll be just sending you an SMS, or sometimes you'll be getting calls, most probably from the time 1:30 to 4:30 inside this particular PM. We'll be afternoons, we'll be getting it where people are busy or doing something or sleeping or doing something else. So they'll be and this particular job load funds has gone to such a level that many people, instead of getting money from that particular bank or the lender, they will be losing their own money. So this is another kind of fraud which is increasing a lot. And coming to the other sides, and these days, I think even this particular pandemic, where more and more people are connected to the technology and watching several websites, good or bad, whatever it is, right? And then they'll be accessing several services on the different what you call websites and all. And suddenly there are, I mean, not suddenly, there are many people who might have got some kind of an email saying that I know what you have done on this particular day at this particular time. I have a video recording of yours. We know what are the websites and the videos that you have watched, right? And we are going to congratulations, we are going to make you very much public, right? If you don't want this to happen, you have to make a payment. Definitely one of you in this particular group might have got such kind of emails, right? And so please tell your friends, others, that if such kind of an emails are going to come to you, there are many people who get frightened, right? Because of the social stigma, because of kind of what you call the attack that your friends or other family members are going to do, and they just bend to that particular demand. So try to avoid all that. Nothing they can do, they just delete and ignore those particular mails, right? And if continuously they are coming in, you can also report to the law enforcement agencies for quick action. So these porn site frauds are also part of that. And as you know, there are several cases that have happened where some of the revenge, what you call the great lovers, they take the revenge of the woman, where they put the photos and the phone numbers on the phone websites and all, and a lot of trouble that has been created. And recently, one issue has happened in this particular Hyderabad region also, and several places. So what I want to tell you over here is that if you should not bend to the demands of this kind of a fraudsters, and try to right ignore them. And if they are trying to persistently trouble you, you can take the help of the cyber criminal, cyber police, as well as some of the counselors who can really help you out. The next is with respect to the fake seeds and all. As you know, recently there are a lot of issues that have happened with the uh, uh, seeds and the chemical frauds that are there, remote access frauds. Like, as you know, there are many what they call softwares by which they are able to do that. And there are some people who have lost some lakhs of rupees, where they call the customer care numbers on the by searching on the Google platform. And sometimes, not all times, sometimes we get the fraudster's number and they call it, and they are going to lose their money. And sometimes they say that you just download, click that link, we have sent a link, click that link so that it can be sorted it out. So what they generally do is they automatically they download some kind of a applications, right? APKs like TeamViewer and AnyDesk and so on, by which the complete control of their mobile will be in the hands of the fraudsters, and the money will be lost. So these are some of the frauds. And when it comes to the others, right, there are certain platforms which are being created. These platforms are created in the best way possible, because the customers can start, the customers, the customers can stop. Sorry for that. Is it okay, the audio?
Some tumbling in your voice, maybe a fan noise or something.
Okay. Fan voice వస్తుందా? Okay. Let's go for that. Next is most of the cyber police officers, they have termed it as an OLX fraud. Actually, they should not do that, but they have done it as an OLX fraud because most of the fraud is happening on the platform like OLX, where people are attracted to the devices and some kind of a vehicles like cars at a very throwaway prices. Then we have the vehicles at a throwaway prices, and they take the help of what we call the military people and all. They use the fake photographs of the military people, and they try to entice the people for making the payment. So the OLX frauds have been increasing a lot, and there are also some what you call platforms where you can also give a complaint to that, which I'll also discuss in the coming slides. Coming to this customer care fraud and all, as you know, um, I don't know whether you have the proper URL of your bank. You have your hard-earned money in your bank account, right? You get your salary through your bank account. How many of you know the actual URL of your bank? How many of you really know what is the customer care number of your bank in case your card is lost, in case something happens to you, some fraud happens to you, some unauthorized transaction happens to you, whom you are going to call? Are you going to call the customer care number, which you know, or you're going to search on the platform search engines and call that particular number? So please understand, a lot of frauds which are happening to this customer care numbers and helpline numbers. You have to verify your bank statements. In that particular bank statements that comes to your email ID and all, you'll be able to identify the actual URL as well as the actual toll-free number that you have on that. Next comes the frauds with respect to email, right? Most of the 100% of the phishing attacks happen through emails. And the other kind of phishing attacks your short URLs that comes to your SMS or through WhatsApp. So email related issues with attachments, get that. That same swapping thing is that it's in swap fraud. Suddenly you get a call that we are trying to upgrade your
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, now you are
Yeah,
audible.
I just I had some bandwidth issue here, so I was just checking. So SIM swap fraud has been increasing a lot these days. What is the reason behind? Is that you suddenly automatically get a call from the provider saying that we are upgrading your services, so for some time your SIM will not be what you call activated. So they'll try to call you and collect your 16-digit number that they sent to you, which is the registration of the new SIM. So you should be very careful with respect to hello. Yeah, so
Sir, since bandwidth issue is there, just I stopped your video. That's it.
okay, the screen is visible.
Screen is visible. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we are talking about this SIM swap fraud, which is happening, where people try to collect your KYCs very easily from the different means, right? And then they try to collect your um, take a SIM on your name, and then your original SIM that you are using will be uh, will not be functioning for some time, and automatically the fraudster's SIM will be activated. And this will be activated until unless the customer, right, who is having the first SIM sends a code to the customer care number. So you should be very careful with the SIM swap frauds, which have been increasing. And if your mobile is not working, where you found the signal loss for a longer time and you're not getting an SMS and all, you have to immediately contact your customer care number and verify what is the reason behind this. Because as of now, right, our identities are only three. One is your cell number is your identity, right? The second is your email ID, which is your identity, and the third is any government ID card, which is your identity. Please understand that. So how to safeguard your email, how to safeguard your cell number, and how to safeguard your identity, it is your responsibility to save it, right? And I always suggest that we should always not share our personal information to everyone just like that, right? Next comes the matrimonial frauds and the gift frauds. I know there are many women who got deceived because of this particular matrimonial frauds, where they connect to the matrimonial sites and they get connected, they make friendship, they send some gifts are going to come, and suddenly they get a call that so and so has sent a gift with lot of things, and you have to make some payment, and people lose money in that. And there are many people who may think that, "Arey, what is this Narasimha is talking about all this?" I'm talking about the real cyber crimes which are happening in India, right? And we may think that, okay, I'm so intelligent and have common sense, but there are many people who are not having this, by which many people are falling prey to that. And definitely, I know in your inbox you will definitely have one email where saying that the some prince or some kingdom in Uganda has been selected you as one of their hirer, and they want to give all the money and the assets, transfer it to your onto your name, right? And the Coca-Cola lottery, Microsoft lottery, what are you name any lottery, the fraudsters are ready to create a lottery for you, and you are always the winner. I don't know how. So all these are some of the things that you should look at, right? And the social media frauds are also increasing a lot. Many kind of harassments happening online, right? People creating fake IDs, creating sending the information about one person to others. And I will also take some of the examples on this particular social media frauds a bit later. Right. And when it comes to the IT Act, yes, definitely, as per the IT Act and all, there are some provisions which are there, right? And the penalties have been also been fixed, the classification of the fine and all. I will not go in depth of it, but one thing you can remember, which is directly connected to you, is your identity theft. If somebody fraudulently collects your information, your electronic signature or the password or unique identification features, then there is an imprisonment up to 3 years and with a fine of 1 lakh. And the cognizable offense is bailable, but it needs to be proved in the court of law. So these are the different IT acts that we have. I'll not go into the IPC. Generally, most of the cyber police officers, that what they try to do is that they'll try to add the IPC Indian Penal Code acts as well as the IT Act to make make the case stronger. Right? Since the time is less, we'll not talk about the IT Act in depth. Now, how do you fight this particular cyber crimes that are happening? Right. As you know, we should be vigilant with respect to our online presence. Whenever we are trying to what we call connect to many people through the websites and all, and through social media and all, you should be very careful. Next is the other is with respect to suspicious emails. You have to flag them and try to report them. Try to never click on the links that comes to you. And whenever you are working remotely for any organization and all, try to have your VPN as possible, because it is much more secure and all. Try to use better strong words, passwords and all. Yes, we know all that, but how many of you are really using a strong password? That is left to you to understand. And two-factor authentication, because many platforms gives you a lot of facilities for your privacy and security, and two-factor authentication is one where once if you are having this two-factor authentication, automatically whenever somebody logs into your email or through your system at a different places, then automatically you will be able to get an authentication alerts over there. And always try to review the tags which are there, plus you have to report and block. Right. And some of the tips for all of you with respect to the online transaction that you want to do. Whenever you want to do any online transactions where the money is involved, right, you have to look for three things. One is the HTTPS hypertext transfer protocol, and the lock symbol, and the digital certificate, because the digital certificate will always specify who has issued it, who, and what is the validity, and to whom it has been issued. And always remember the HTTPS has to be there for the secure communication between your client and the server. And this is one example of our SBI, where many people, whenever I ask the question with respect to the URL, many people used to give wrong answers. So this is the onlinesbi.com, where you can see on the green bar, you will be able to know the certification and to whom it has been given and who has given and so on. The other is with respect to this fraud, how to identify the fraudulent URLs. If any URL starts with HTTP, never interact with that until unless you have a HTTPS, then only you'll be able to interact. And sometimes they are also deceptive, so you should be verifying very properly. And these are some kind of a phishing attacks that happen. So most of the phishing attacks happen with respect to the URLs where there is some change or a spelling mistake in the URL, where you can see the first one is the gmail.com, the other is ICICIbank.com, Bank of India, Facebook.com, and so on. Coming to mobile apps, yes, I know most of you have been downloading the apps. Yes, I know we love anything that is free, so we try to download those free apps only. And once you are downloading free apps, nothing is free. It comes with a package, and we give permissions to each and every package that what they are requesting it. But we never go back and see what are the things, what are the permissions that we have given, and so that we can review it. The other is the be careful of those particular messages that you get. There are many messages. Sorry. There are many messages, fake messages that will be coming to you as if that from the income tax or from the bank and so on. And there will be a tiny URLs, as you can see on the bit.ly, and we'll not know by that until unless we click on that link. But I would suggest that never click on that link. You just copy that link, paste it onto your browser on the new tab, and you will be able to know whether it is the proper URL or not, and check the spellings and all. So coming to the other aspects, yes, cyberbullying has been increasing heavily. There are many children who are falling prey to the cyberbullying and the online harassments, which are happening with most of the women and children, not only girls. Nowadays, boys are also part of that. Next is sending objectionable images, sending the spam links. All these are part of it. And do you know there are some children who have been forced into the sexual conversation with the fraudsters which are there. So I'll not talk about the passwords, because I know that your passwords are such a strong passwords that nobody can break into it. And I know that you are frequently changing your passwords, and I know that you are trying to, you are not using the same password for multiple accounts. And definitely there are a possibility that anyone can break into your account if you are not following this particular thing. And never share your passwords. Right. Coming to mails, yes, whenever you are trying to download the information or any attachments and all, try to scan it and all. Now it has been integrated to the particular service itself, but always try to have it. Coming to the social media, yes, I know the time is running out because we have to give time for the question and answers. Social media and all, never be very careful while you are sharing the information. Privacy, security on the platforms has to be used, and try to be very, very safe on the internet. Try to use the HTTPS. Right, there is no free lunch. Please remember that. Whenever you want to trying to download applications and all, right, you should be very, very careful. And coming to the other aspect, which is the fake news. Yes, fake news is again part of our life these days, right? And there are no means by which we can verify the fake news until unless the other person tells us that it is fake. Now you have the option where whenever any fake news comes to you, try to check the URL very, very closely. Try to investigate the source who has sent it. Is it a reliable person who has sent it or not? Check the particular formatting that is required. Check other sources, whether this particular news is covered by other channels or not, and try to be very spectacle about those particular photographs and other catchy contents, because there is a possibility that it will be a mock photographs and the content is changed so that it is attractive, and there are many things that are there. These are some of the tools that you can use by which you can avoid and verify this particular fake news and all. It can be a photo or a video. You can use these particular tools for that. Next, when it comes to cyber crimes and all, try to always see that you copy the URL, try to identify the IP address, save the IP address, and save the conversation that you have done. Take a screenshot of the entire PC and the mobile screen so that you can have the timestamp of it, and never delete all the IDs and messages, because these are going to be the proofs and which has to be attached to with your complaint, right? And coming to net banking and all, there are certain things which I will skip to this, and some of the safeties for the online. Let's skip to directly to the challenges. Okay, before that, reporting. I know that reporting is very, very easy. There are certain options that are available on the platform. If you're not liking a video on a YouTube channel, you can also select those three dots and try to report it on the channel. When you talk about the helplines, yes, there are several helplines which have been provided by the platforms, and the email IDs by which you can also do the reporting to that. Apart from that, you can also go for this local police, where you can also register a complaint if it has gone to a different, and you have to decide which situation is best for you. And one stop solution for all of you, the government of India has initiated the cybercrime.gov.in, which is very much um, accessible to everyone. The cybercrime.gov.in is one stop platform where you can report the cybercrimes as well as report the other types of crimes which are happening, where the one option is there where you can say that this particular you can report anonymously also. The next is with respect to the trends that are going to happen. The cybercrime trends we are going to happen in are going to stay with us is the ransomware attacks are going to be much more uh, strict. Mobile malwares are increasing a lot. Cyber activism is another one. Artificial intelligence and IoT, which are going to be used in this particular cybercrime, right? We are talking about the touchless cards like the RFID cards and the cards being used and the card fraud being increasing. DDoS attacks, distributed denial of service attacks are going to increase a lot. Crypto jacking is going to increase. Social engineering attacks, sophisticated phishing attacks, right? And attacks on the people who are going to work from home because of their vulnerability in those particular devices. And another issue that we have is also the targeting attacks on the governments. All these are going to continue forever. And on the left hand side, which is taken for the finance online, the source, you can see the kind of threat scales that have been increasing, where we talk about the malware attacks, phishing attacks, ransomware attacks, and so on, right? And this is one more analysis which has been done, which is the source is the P Cloud, where we talk about the different kind of breaches and what are the primary causes of the breaches that we have. Next, we are talking about the trends. Yes, 60% of the cases which are going to be reported will be the or financial frauds, and the others will be the social media crimes, and 10% will be with respect to email hacking and miscellaneous frauds. And social media crimes are going to increase and affect most of the women. And as you know, the platforms, right, are being proper are abused, like the WhatsApp and the Facebook and all. And we are talking about the mobile penetration, which is going to increase, and this is also a big challenge for the law enforcement agencies in identifying that particular crime. And nowadays we are talking about crime as a service and crimeware being created, where the services are, there are people who are providing those particular services as well as who are also the operators of the services, right? And another big challenges that we have with respect to this cyber crime, the cyber threats and the cyber crimes are evolving totally. The threat landscape is changing totally. Now we are having different types of threats. We are talking of new technologies which are being introduced, the IoT, the deep fakes, the big data, right? And new technologies means new issues that are going to come. And can you imagine artificial intelligence, which is going to help us, will also help the criminal. Artificial intelligence will also help the criminal in creating the different attack vectors, right? And another challenges that we have with respect to this is the lack of capacity building among the LES, and there is a lot of gap that is there. The lot of gap with respect to expertise, a lot of gap with respect to the capacity building, lot of knowledge or capacity has to be generated for more and more on the new technologies and all. Next, we are talking about the awareness programs has to be created, and lot of awareness programs needs to be created. Public private partnership needs to be evolved, then only it will be done, because there are some cases where the private partnership is not taken into consideration, but they have to go for the public private partnership in mitigating these particular challenges. Educating the children at the young age with respect to the security is also one very important thing, and it is also a challenge. And now the most of the syllabus has been included with some safety measures, right? And agreement among the states and the countries should be there so that the culprits can be caught at different levels. So this is our YouTube channel that we have, the youtube.com, where the Cyber Peace Foundation, we have the Cyber Peace TV, where a lot of awareness videos has been created, which will be very useful to you. You can subscribe to this particular channel. Then we are having the Cyber Peace Corps, where you can also be joining as a volunteer, right? You can also be part of this, right? And because we can do it together, right? Thank you very much for your attention, right? These are the contact numbers. If any woman or anybody who is having some issue which they cannot express with anybody, we have this WhatsApp helpline number 95750 and 66. You have to just text that problem if you have it, or also you can also write it to the helpline at cyberpeace.net. Our experts will come back to you and try to help you out in sorting out this particular problem, because we are there to support you. And now I think we can take some questions. Chakravarti garu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful session. So we can take the questions. If anybody want to ask questions, I can unmute them. So they can raise their hands.
Sorry, I had to go very fast because it is for 1 hour. A lot of things to discuss.
So your voice is so clear, we could understand everything, sir. Commanding voice like a commander.
So, any questions that we have? They can also chat. You have the chat option also?
Yes, sir. I have given the chat option.
Best. Because some people may not. Some Lata Sri is raising the hand.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, madam, we can hear you. Please.
Sir, how to know cyber crimes are in our PC, sir? Any tools to check cyber crimes?
Okay, so now the biggest doubt for all of you would be whether my mobile is hacked or my PC is already hacked, right? One on the lighter note, I would say that our mobiles are already hacked because we have been downloading a lot of applications from the Play Stores without verifying the facts, and we have not analyzed our mobile apps. Coming to the permissions that you are given, you have already given the permissions to access all the things. If I take a simple example for that, is that when you are using this particular mobile app on your downloading a mobile app, for example, a taxi aggregator. A taxi aggregator requires only your location. It does not require your contacts. It does not require others. So what I would always suggest is that today, after this particular session, go back to your settings, verify what are the permissions that you are given, and try to undo those particular permissions which are not required for that app to work, and also remove that unwanted apps in your mobile. Now, coming to your PCs, yes, there are some measures by which you can verify it. You should have a licensed operating system as well as a licensed purchased antivirus which has the internet safety as well as malware protection. And once you scan your particular system with this particular advanced features of this antivirus and anti-malware software, definitely you'll be able to identify some of the problems over there, and it will also give you the what is the solution for that. And if you are not downloaded intentionally or unintentionally that particular applications, you can remove it. From the technical point of view, I don't know whether you will be able to go through the taskbar, and in that particular taskbar, you can also, in the manager, you can also verify the unwanted processes which are running, unwanted applications that are running at the back. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
There is a question from Dr. Syed in the chat. Is eSIM safer than physical SIM?
Which one? eSIM, electronic SIM.
Yeah, yes, sir. Is electronic SIM safer than physical SIM?
Now, where you are going to use this electronic SIMs? Right. It all depends upon the applications that you're going to use. Like, for example, in your mobiles, now are you going to use a eSIM or a physical SIM? Right. So I would suggest that it all depends upon your application and your necessity by which you can use this particular option if it is available. Second thing is you should also explore how much safety it is, right? Because I always say that, suppose let us say we are going to a particular what you call railway station or somewhere, and you find a free Wi-Fi. I know 90% of the people will get connected to that particular free Wi-Fi because it is offering free. Now, should I connect it or should I not use it? That service is provided, but if I feel that I should not do any financial transactions on that, I will never connect to that. I always say that my mobile data is much more secure in doing this financial transaction than others. Yes, sir. Next question, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, my name is Venkateshwar, sir, from RGKTV.
Chappan.
Actually, I am interested to do research in blockchain technology, sir. Is there any special areas that related to cyber crimes? Why? Because many cyber fraudsters are demanding only bitcoins. Behind the bitcoin is blockchain technology, right? Behind of the bitcoin, they are using blockchain technology, right?
Hello.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I want to do research on blockchain technology, sir. That's why I need a particular area. Which type of cybercrimes is best suitable for blockchain technology, whether banking or social media frauds?
See, there is always a demand for cyber security professionals per se in every field, whether it's an organization or in the police or any other banking sector or anywhere. Here, if you are looking at this blockchain technologies to be used, to be implemented at the particular things, then it should be related to the financial frauds, right? Where to reduce the financial frauds, how can this blockchain can be used to mitigate that particular risk and to avoid that particular risk? And that area you can really explore. I think there are a lot of research going on in this particular area also, and that would be the best chance for you to try to come out with some new ideas, new implementation strategies by which the financial transactions that happen can be safe enough. And the other thing that you have to look at is also the feasibility of your application that you're going to develop. So we talk about different things. We talked
Okay.
about the operational feasibility, technical feasibility, economic feasibility, all that. But I'm looking at the technological feasibility side, right? If your
Okay.
application is going to take more time in processing the data and giving the results, then it's of no use. So we're looking at a faster ways of doing the things.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Myself Ashish Bhole. I'm working as an associate professor in SSBT Engineering College, Jalgaon, Maharashtra.
Mhm.
Thanks for your walkthrough to cyberspace. A nice walkthrough. Just I want to ask one question. As you have answered the very first question, without assessing the apps, we do download the app and we do use it, but unintentionally we are giving our access to the malware. So many times we do get a call on our smartphones. The number starts from plus 140 and the
Yeah,
later
yeah, yeah.
numbers vary. Uh, they do vary greatly, but most
Yes.
of the time it starts with plus 140. And
Yeah.
if you happen to pick that call, some song plays. So where to report this thing? Because this has been a incidence to many, I suppose. So can you guide us in this regard?
Well, as I told you, the one-stop solution,
Hmm.
the one-stop solution for such kind of such things is your cybercrime.gov.in. The
Okay.
second thing that you have is these days most of the cyber cells, most of the cyber hello, yeah,
Yes, sir.
most of the cyber cells are also most of the cybers are also having some WhatsApp numbers.
Okay.
And once you give permission to the WhatsApp of informing any cyber crime, is that taking
Hmm.
all the evidences, collecting all the evidences, writing a letter, go to the
Hmm. Hmm. Hello. 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 Voice is not audible, sir.
I think he lost his connection.
Okay.
Am I audible, Chakravarti?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it is okay.
Just, no.
Sir, there are some bandwidth issues with you.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
Now it is
Yeah,
good.
any other questions? Any other questions? Did I answer that? Okay. Coming back to that, you can go to the local police station and give a complaint. The second thing is now the government of India has also initiated through the police departments, right, a particular project where they are going to record all such kind of fake calls, the VoIP calls and all. There are a lot of research also which is needs to be done with respect to the VoIP calls, the virtual number. The fraudsters are being identified through different means, because there is some kind of a uh, what do you call, measures which the LES will take to identify the particular criminal. Yes, sir. Any more questions?
Sir, there is a question in the chat from Mr. Sajid Ali. So sometimes we get
Yeah.
messages from recipient names like SB card, government org, and so on. How to know whether
Yes.
valid senders?
Okay. Now the the law enforcement agencies have been discussing with TRI, and they have come out with some kind of a proposal saying that this bulk SMS facility with the naming of that service has been reduced a lot. You can see that these days it has been reduced. Earlier, we used to get some hundreds, even though you have the DND, do not disturb. You used to get lot of messages with the particular IDs and all. So what I always suggest is as a bottom rule is that, right, don't don't believe everything that we receive, right? So we should have some kind of a caution respond. If you get anything, if just think whether I have to respond or not. It is important to me or not, and then only you can take a call whether you want to respond or delete it. Yes, sir. Any other doubts?
Mr. Akash, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Akash and I'm a student of JNPK Kakinada, CS line.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, means accept authorized service. Is it any website? Every website asks me to create an account, and while creating an account, I'll give my name, my age, and my email ID.
Okay.
And my data has been exploited to many sites, and it is insecure for me. So, is there any alternative to reduce it?
Okay. If I say that don't use the technology, you're going to curse me. Right? You have
No, but
to
means they are authorized only, but my data is exploited in many ways. So, how can I avoid it to the maximum extent?
One tip. One tip is that you should have two mobile numbers and two email IDs. As oh, sorry, again there was some disconnection. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, there was some disconnection, right? Which is beyond our control, the technology, right? So we are talking about this technology, let us say having two email IDs and two cell numbers. One email ID and one cell number, which is not known to anyone except for your closed associates, your parents, and your well-wishers, and the banking financial systems. The other two can be used for the other purposes, right? And you can definitely know that the information that you are passing over there will not be, even though it is misused, it will not be harmful to you, right? And I will always suggest that, again, go back, stop, think, and connect. Why stop, think, and connect? Respond, because whether you require it or not, you are the right person, right? And there are several services where you can log in through your Gmail account. You can also log in with other accounts that you have. So try to avoid that. Yes, sir. Next question.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, getting calls from government customer care. How can you identify them? Okay, is the government giving you anything? I mean, what kind of calls are you getting it to get? So there should be some clarity. Generally, we get, okay, I'll tell you on the lighter side, there are people who are lost money because they are not verified their SMS that are coming to their mobile, right? Because they are watching the WhatsApps on a regular basis, frequent basis, but they are not uh, browsing through their SMS, right? So here, the kind of calls that you get depends upon the type of call and the service the service from where they are, what they are going to give, right? Because I mean, 3 days back I got a call from the PF office, right? And they have said that please link your what you call Aadhaar number with your PF number, right? But I did not respond to them. I have just verified, gone to the online website, verified the URL. There I logged in, right? And then there I have given the linking of my Aadhaar number and updating of my KYC. Yeah, any other questions? Hello. Okay, there was another question. How to check whether our mobile is secure or not? Okay. So just look for this particular signs. If your battery is getting drained continuously, very fast, and your mobile is getting heated up regularly, right? And there is lot of data usage, maximum data usage that is happening, right? Which means that there is something wrong with your mobile. Okay. Now, the best thing that I would like to tell you is that to reset your phone to the factory settings, right? And once you reset your phone to the factory settings, you are going to lose everything on your mobile. And once you lose everything on your mobile, you know how to get it back. Because your contact, most important thing that is there in your mobile is your contacts, which are connected to your Gmail, right? And there are also some methods by which you can also verify whether your mobile has been compromised or not. Hello? The organizers?
Sir,
Yeah. Any questions I missed in the chat, Chakravarti Garu?
recently another question is there. Is Tor browser safe or not?
Okay. So why do you want a Tor browser? Right. Basically, when you want to access right the other web other than Surface Web, we try to use a Tor browser, right? And it is also free and open source, right? Now, whether it's safe or not, right, is again a question mark. But you can do more with a Tor browser than with your normal browser. That's what I can say. Okay, another question. Which antivirus is more secure? Can you please advise? Well, take my words. I am Narasimha Rao. I've been telling it since years together. No antivirus, right, is going to save you. No antivirus is going to save you, right? And if you are going to download anything that is free, then another big issue that will then nothing is free in this world. There is no freelance. So what I would suggest is that try to identify that particular company which is going to give you some regular updates. Try to identify that particular company which is giving you more services than what antivirus is going to do, like internet security, malware, anti-malware, and other features that are there. And only those particular antivirus which are having a regular updates needs to be used, because the viruses, worms, right, trojans are going to, the signature of them changes regularly, right? And until unless your antivirus or your anti-malware is updated with this signatures of the new viruses, it cannot stop them entering into your system. Is there any softwares to check whether our computer mobile is secure? Yes, there are few softwares. You can browse through the net, because here I'm not supposed to tell you or campaign for a particular thing. You can verify that. Okay. I think slowly the questions are going into the hacking part of it, right? Which we are not supposed to discuss or over here. Any other questions? Well, Chakravarti, I think.
So thank you, sir. Thank you for your Q&A session and your the main session. So we are very happy to hear. So we'll be having more programs through CyberPeace. So
Thank you.
after everything is over on campus, kindly conduct some sessions to all the students so that they'll be benefit out of this.
Yes, yes. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Chakravarti Garu. You have taken a lot of pains in organizing this particular webinar series, and I could see great stalwarts also being part of your webinar, right? And I thank you that I'm part of one of your team member. And thanks to all the participants who have joined. It was really what you call encouraging for me after seeing you all and the kind of questions that are asked. I truly agree because this cybercrime topic needs in-depth discussions and all, right? Because of the scarcity of time, I could just touch base with it and talk about those things which are directly related to your life. Don't keep those awareness tips with only with you. Just share it with all the others so that more and more people can get benefited. You as you can also refer to my contact number. Is the screen available, visible?
No, sir. Please share your PPT so that I can put in there.
Yeah. I'll be sharing it. So thank you very much, all of you, for your wonderful presence, and all the best, and have a safe future.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, dear all, so we'll be sending tomorrow's links to your respective mails, and also see your spam folders, because most of the mails are going into spam. So without checking the spam folder, you people are asking again and again. So kindly check it. And on the website, we have a Telegram link, Telegram group link. If anybody want to interest to join in that, you can join, because in that we'll be sharing information related to all the sessions. So thank you one and all. So session is ended.